So, Project Nessie. It was a video that came out at the making of this video about 2 months ago. It's comprised of a couple competitive Titanfall 2 players who are giving their take on what they feel Titanfall 3 should encompass. It's a good video, and it was a fun time killer for my work breaks, but there were some points that the crew made that I personally disagreed with. Now before you go on watching this video, I suggest you watch it first so you have somewhat of an understanding what was said in the video, and give you a better context of what will be said in this one. Now a couple disclaimers. First, the most obvious one, this is completely my opinion of the content in the video. You're welcome to disagree or agree with what I say in your own ways, just don't pop a hemorrhage over it. Second, I'm only going to discuss the points that I disagree with, since talking about everything would drag this video out way longer than it needs to be. So without further ado, here is my response to Project Nessie. So let's talk about pilot movement first. In the video, the Nessie guys complain about how movement has been dumbed down and had skill removed from the equation. Their essential point is it's too easy to reach high speeds in this game, compared to that of Titanfall 1. Yes, I would agree that movement is much easier in Titanfall 2, but is that really a bad thing? So what if the average player has access to better speed than they did in the first game? Personally, I believe that is a good thing. Even so, I still believe that it takes a certain amount of skill in order to fly around the map efficiently. I didn't learn how to swing a grapple in a minute. I didn't learn how to slide hop in an instant. Just because you guys feel that it is too easy to achieve high speeds does not mean the rest of the players in the game feel the same way. Besides, speed does not equal a total win for a player, as they need to possess both gunplay skill and knowledge of the map to have it function. Giving a new player the skills to achieve sonic speeds does not make him a good player immediately. If he can't hit anything in high speeds, then what exactly has he really achieved? Nothing at all. So, you guys had some choice words to say about the tacticals. I'll admit, some of the points you made were concise and logical, but I think you were a bit too harsh on some of them. But let's take a look at each of them. I don't really have a problem with Pulse Blade. Sure, it's somewhat cheap, but think about what you're sacrificing to have your wall hack knife. You sacrifice advanced movement with the grapple and the stim for the ability to have better awareness of your surroundings. Also, the knife takes longer to recharge than it would take to vacuum the Egyptian pyramids, so that kind of further helps to balance it in my eyes. Another tactical with a slow as molasses recharge time, but still one that I hate fervently. I'll give it to you on this one. It does need a bit of a nerf. Phase shift got brought down to only one charge, so it's a little less cheesy. It's way easier to track a phasing pilot while he's only got one charge now, since you know he's not just going to disappear again. So I guess it's slightly balanced? Yes. What once was the spawn of Satan himself now is a good tactical with its upsides and downsides. Now that the DMR and other one-shot amped weapons have been nerfed, AWOL's been brought into line with the others. So yeah, it's a wall that makes your bullets into better bullets while protecting you. What's the downsides? Destructible, and can easily be approached from the sides and back. Oh. Yeah, on this point, it was especially apparent that there was a lack of effort to change what you were saying to fit what Titanfall was at the time. At the release of your guys' video, AWOL was destructible, which you guys just threw in a thumbnail instead of changing it, and it no longer allowed weapons to one-shot people because of its amp damage, namely the DMR. Grapple is so much fun the way it is right now. Sure, it breaks the hit registration, but it allows pilots to pull off wicked movements if they put in enough effort. Personally, I'd say, aside from the hit registration, Grapple is just fine the way it is. If it wasn't the way it is now, why would people really use it at all? Just think back to when this game first came out. No one knew that you could maneuver yourself with the Grapple, and therefore no one ever used it. Everyone only started using it when they found out about the maneuverability with it, like from the YouTubers. So my point is, if you were to change it, I really don't think anyone would use it because you've essentially taken away what lures people to Grapple the most, and that's the insane speed and mobility opportunities. I like the way executions are done in Titanfall 2. They're fun, exciting, cool to look at, and provide a fancy way of rubbing your victory into the player you're killing. So I believe execution should keep you invincible and allow you to enjoy the moment. Even while executing though, you're still put at a risk. Just think about what the other team can do to you. They can set up a trap, wait right next to you, prepare to shoot you, or execute you themselves if you're doomed. The only problem I have with them is that I would have liked it if they had stayed in first person. I feel third person breaks the immersion of the act of executing the enemy titan. Just imagine yourself in what Scorch's prime execution. Just think of it while you're in first person. I think you'll get my drift. The anti-titan weapons are great in my eyes. They all have their own unique play styles and offer great ways to annoy the titans. Your main complaint here, guys, is that the anti-titan weapons do too little damage to actually make any real impact. And to that I have to say, are you kidding me? I mean, are you serious? Maybe the Thunderbolt could maybe fit into that category, but everything else, not even a question. They all do great damage. The Archer packs a hard punch and can easily take a full bar of health unamped. Charge Rifle, great for long range, decent damage across all Titan types. MGL, great damage, wonderful at close range. Thunderbolt, not as much damage, but really annoying, which is why I see so many of the pilots use it. So, to say that the anti-Titan weapons don't do good damage is ridiculous. And I get it. They aren't as good as they were in Titanfall 1. I can attest to that. But they had to be tuned down a bit since the default shields from Titans were removed. So, no, the anti-Titan weapons, I believe, are perfectly fine the way they are. Short point here. This entire section was completely devoted to amped weapons. They basically said amped weapons was too powerful and needed to be nerfed. Again, amped weapons has been nerfed a couple times already. It does less damage now and only lasts 30 seconds. So again, you guys really should have changed your info here instead of just putting a correction on screen. And on your other point, the other boosts are not fun to use? That's stupid. The fact that ticks even exist completely blows that out of the water. Even the bad boosts like Phase Rewind are fun to use merely because of how ridiculous and ridiculously bad they are. It provides lots of silly and stupid moments in the game and with my friends. I think they're really fun to use, but I guess that's kind of subjective. So let's talk about Rodeo. Rodeo is somewhat of an odd subject to me. I really liked both ways of rodeoing an enemy titan throughout the two games. The battery pull promotes taking a risk as a pilot and rewards you for pulling it off with a free shield, core charge, and a health regen all packed into one great glowy green thing. But I also liked how it was done in the first game. Being able to easily shred a titan with the right loadout was a lot of fun, and boy was it great when you pulled it off. So what should be done about Rodeo? Uber Panzerhund put forward a good idea of giving players the choice of what to do when you're rodeoing. You could either choose to pull out the battery, like you can in this game, or you can choose to rip into the Titan's internal systems, just like you could in the first game. At that point, it fixes the predictability problems you guys pointed out, because you don't really know what the pilot's going to choose every time. And the pilot has options, which is another thing you guys complained about in the video. In the current state of the game, in my opinion, I believe most of the guns are properly balanced in their current state. Now, come on, hear me out on this one, guys, alright? I believe all the OP guns of the past have been properly balanced out with the patches that have come for this game. The Devotion is no longer ridiculously good, and the R97's crazy cross-map damage has been completely neutered. Let's see, arc grenades, still kind of cancerous, but they're much harder to use against pilots now, so that's pretty good. But the point that I'm trying to make here is pretty much that all the OP weapons that you guys were complaining about, specifically the SMGs, got nerfed, really, and they aren't stupid OP anymore. Alright, let's get on to the game modes. I gotta say, you guys had some harsh words for some of these game modes, and some words that I really do not understand. But let's go over each of the game modes, and I'll give my thoughts on your points and the game modes themselves. Attrition is good. It's fun, mindless, and, sometimes that's a good thing. I will admit that whoever drops their Titan first will essentially win the game, but it's not impossible to come back from it. I've done it before. It really is not impossible. And also, the Titan core charge rate got reduced in a patch, so that's not really a big deal anymore. I can see where you guys are coming from, as I played the game way back then before they nerfed it, and it was stupid easy to get at core, but that's not really a problem anymore. Antithesis of a Titanfall game, huh? Okay, no. Bounty Hunt does not do any of the stuff you guys said. It may be like that for you guys, but I don't get the vibe that I'm discouraged from going balls to the wall fast in it like you guys claim it does. The only time death is punished severely is when you have a lot of money to deposit. That can make it frustrating to play, but it's still a lot of fun. I mean, it's not a perfect game mode, but it's fun. And that, in the end, is really what matters in this game. Basically, they claim that everything wrong with this game mode was already covered in the pilot gameplay parts, so I'm going to pull the same card on this one, since I've already made my rebuttal to all those arguments previously in the video. I don't really play Capture the Flag very often, as when I do, I often meet sweaty competitive players who are flying across the map like they used a cheese grater for toilet paper. So I don't have much experience in this mode, nor do I really understand how competitive players play it or their mindsets in it. I suppose I'll take your word for it on this one, but I guess I'll take it with a grain of salt. Again, same thing with this one, although I have played this more often. LTS is fun. While you are right about it being a war of attrition and essentially whittling the enemy's health away in some sort of a trench warfare kind of thing, the core problem is not that much of a deal anymore, as the core charge got reduced. Now there is at least some semblance of strategy and some correct positioning, so I'm okay with how it is right now. I hate this mode. I really do. You want to talk about a game mode that really punishes death and movement? This is the one, guys. Right here in Livefire. Traffic, Deck, Meadow, all maps that discourage pilot movement because of their tight, close quarters and their long corridors that make it very easy for Kraber spammers. And better yet, there are no respawns in this game. You know how many times I've been killed by frag grenades that were just Kobe'd across the map in the beginning of the match? It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't care if you guys like it. That's fine by me. Like what you want. But this game mode is just the worst, and I absolutely hate to play it. So, to conclude this ramble of a video, you guys proposed some good ideas in your video. However, the lack of effort to change the misinformation completely nullified some of the points you guys were making. And also, I think many of the other viewers who watched it missed some of these points because of that. Now, I love this game, and I know you guys love it too, but if all the changes you proposed actually came to be, I doubt anyone would really play it, and it would flop in player numbers like Titanfall 1 did. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please leave a comment, and if you didn't enjoy it, please still leave a comment so I can improve my work. Thanks for watching, and have a great Thanksgiving.